Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the confusing world of corporate finance. And guess what? Today, we're diving into Candel Therapeutics Inc. and their latest report from the 13th of November 2025. Prepare yourselves because it seems like this report is all about telling us how they did financially not so long ago. Before we jump in, if you like getting these kinds of straight talk financial breakdowns, make sure you are subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below if you want to chat about these filings with other gearheads like yourself. Alright, so what exactly is Candel Therapeutics Inc? Well, they are a company that is incorporated in Delaware, and their stock trades on the Nasdaq Global Market under the ticker symbol Candel. They are considered an emerging growth company, which means they get some special treatment when it comes to new accounting rules. We are looking at their current report, which is a Form 8. Okay, think of this as a way for companies to quickly announce any major events that shareholders really need to know about right away. Now, the main juicy bit here is that on the 13th of November 2025, Candel Therapeutics Inc. announced their financial results for the quarter that ended on the 30th of September 2025. This is where we get to see how they have been performing financially. Usually these reports come with a press release, and that is exactly what we have here. It is like getting the company's own summary of their recent performance straight from the horse's mouth. So what did that press release tell us about their financial condition and operations? Well, this report tells us that the press release itself is attached as Exhibit 99.1. This is key because it means the details of their performance for the quarter ending the 30th of September 2025 are laid out in that document. While this current report doesn't go into deep detail about the numbers themselves, it points us directly to where we can find them. It is like getting a treasure map and being told the treasure is buried under the big X marked on the accompanying map. Now, the filing also includes something called Exhibit 104, the cover page interactive data file. This is basically the report in a format that computers and financial software can easily understand and process. It is for the more technical users out there. Looking at the bigger picture here, Candel Therapeutics Inc. is a company whose common stock is traded on the Nasdaq. This means ordinary investors like you and me can buy and sell shares of the company. The fact that they are an emerging growth company is also noteworthy because it gives them some flexibility in how they adopt new accounting standards, something to keep an eye on. If you are a long-term investor, as it might mean their reported figures could differ from other established companies for a while. So what does this all mean for us as investors or just curious onlookers? Well, this filing is essentially a heads up about their financial performance for the third quarter of 2025. It tells us that they have released their earnings and we should look to that press release for the specifics. The important takeaway is that when a company puts out an earnings report, it is their chance to shape the narrative about how they are doing. We need to look beyond the headlines and dig into the numbers reported in that press release to really understand if Candel Therapeutics is on the right track or facing headwinds. Now, here is where we need to be a bit detective. Like, this specific Form 8K filing itself doesn't contain the actual numbers from the financial tables. It mostly references the press release where those numbers are. So to really break down the financials, we would need to read that press release. However, we can infer that the company felt these results were significant enough to warrant an 8K filing, which is for material events. Considering the filed document here without the press release, it's hard to give you a detailed breakdown of their financial tables like revenue or earnings per S-hair. What we can say is that by filing an 8 just to announce their earnings on the 13th of November 2025, for the quarter ending the 30th of September 2025, the company is acknowledging that these results are important. We know they are trading on the Nasdaq and they are a relatively young company. The real story, the numbers and the trends we care about are in that attached press release. It is where we would see if their revenue is growing or shrinking, if their expenses are under control, and if they are making a profit or burning through cash. As seasoned corporate decoders, we know that earnings reports are critical for understanding a company's health and future prospects. The fact that they are an emerging growth company might mean they are in a phase of rapid development, or perhaps still establishing a solid track record. This is often a period of higher risk but also higher reward potential for Candel Therapeutics Inc. The period around the 30th of September 2025 is a snapshot in time. Without the detailed financial tables presented here, we can't perform a deep dive into specific metrics like cash flow or debt levels. However, an 8K filing related to earnings usually signals that the company wants to communicate important performance information promptly. We have to assume the numbers within that press release are what they believe investors need to know right now. So what is our take on this? This filing is a signal, a notification that Candel Therapeutics Inc. has put out its latest financial report card. It is not the report card itself, but a notice that it is available, and that the company considers it important. The key is to then go and find that press release exhibit 99.1. That is where the real meat is. We need to see if their stated results show growth in their core business, if they are managing their operating expenses efficiently, and importantly, if they are moving towards profitability or sustainable operations. The biggest risk with emerging growth companies is often the uncertainty of their business model and their ability to scale successfully. Without seeing the actual numbers from the press release, we can't assess Candel's specific strengths and weaknesses. However, the very act of releasing this information as a Form 8K filing tells us they are operating under the watchful eye of the SEC and are subject to reporting requirements, which is a good thing for transparency. To sum it up, this filing is an announcement. It tells us go look for the earnings. The company's direction will depend on the details within that press release. Are they investing heavily for future growth, which might explain lower profits now, or are their revenues simply not keeping pace with their costs? These are the questions we need answered from Exhibit 99.1. Alright, that is our initial look at Candel Therapeutics Inc.'s 8K filing. What is your take on companies that file 8Ks just to announce earnings? Are they being transparent or just following the rules? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this breakdown was helpful and you want more insights into the world of corporate filings, please hit that like button and subscribe. And hey, don't forget to join our Discord community, linked in the description for more discussions. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next decode.